Welcome, everybody, back to Distantquest. My name is Prowess. In today's Distantquest gameplay, we're gonna have the Psiionic. Yeah, because the updates came out, so now we got Volume 3. The Psiionic is very loud. Let me turn that down. And then we also have Volume 4 later, but for now we have Volume 3, the Psiionic. Don't put me in a situation. Okay, fair. Okay. Content warning, violence, homicide, confined spaces, talking about death and mortality, blood, and heights. One of these things is not like the others. No Valhalla this week because Distantquest came out, so of course we're gonna be going through Distantquest a little bit. So, let's get to it, shall we? You don't know where you are, do I ever? Which you can't say at this point is anything new, of course, but this isn't quite the Alternia you're used to. The town you're aimlessly walking around makes you feel like you've been thrown into the pages of a history textbook and told to go absolutely buck wild. This is supposed to be the story of the Silence, and Aradia would tell you if you've gone off course, wouldn't she? But she wouldn't, because you remember you got all split up, and that just makes you feel even smaller, the world around you even bigger. Still, you call out her name. Aradia? You there? A little lost here. So you're completely alone. It's dark and no light pours from the hive windows surrounding you. Surprisingly, considering this is a nocturnal race and all, the street seems pretty deserted. Your mind supplies for you a lonely tumbleweed gliding against the paved road. And then you see it. The tumbleweed? Friendship. Well, no, not friendship exactly, but perhaps a locale where friendship can take place. The only building with their lights on, like a beacon in the darkness. From the window, you can already make out uncountable pairs of horns packed inside. You can already tell whatever's going on inside is a major function with a capital F, a booling location, if you will. Parties! You're a natural at parties, am I? That is not true at all, actually. You can't hear any music, but they might just be setting up still. You mosey on up to this here event and nudge yourself past the group of trolls that were standing outside the door with a couple of stars and thank yous. I'm just gonna barge my way into this fucker, huh? Alright. Inside, it seems to be some kind of alien bar establishment. There are trolls everywhere, so much so you can't take another step forward without walking right into someone's back. They're not talking to each other, though, in normal party hangout fashion. They're just staring straight forward, sometimes one whispering to another next to them in hushed voices, their attention thoroughly diverted to something you can't make out through all the bodies. So maybe this is more of a troll concert event kind of deal? Maybe it's a poetry event. Again, no biggie for you. Been there, done that with Marvis, and now, fucking hell, you know how to handle yourself. You're just glad you're not alone anymore. And who knows, maybe one of these trolls is looking for a new squad member to hang out with after the... And then you hear a very, very familiar voice. You nudge your way to the outskirts of the room to get a better view, and that's when you see him. Hey! There he is. First of all, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out to hear me speak. I know that sounds rehearsed or maybe expected of me to say, but I genuinely can't tell you enough how much just being here matters. Tonight, you made the conscious decision to listen to a troll who, for all legal purposes, shouldn't be left breathing. And most importantly, you made the conscious decision to be part of be a part of a community. The Signless! I know that guy! I know him! That's your buddy! And you enthusiastically wave to him from your place in the audience, but he must not see you because his focus, his grave important stare, doesn't break for a second. You can see now that someone stands in the background of him, back to the wall, in a ridiculous yellow getup, his eyes a pupilless red and blue. He seems very official, capital V-O, and intimidating, arms crossed in front of him, his face an unreadable wall of concentration. Occasionally, he turns his head this way and that, as if scanning for some invisible threat. Is this one of the Clade members the Dolorosa and the Silence were talking about? Probably. Wow. You eat up the scene around you and you just can't get over the fact that you're actually at a real sermon. You know the Silence mentioned preaching, but you didn't know you'd be able to see him in action. The room feels electric. That's probably the Psionics, actually. If you would please take a look around the room at who's surrounding you right now. Without even noticing, you find yourself glancing around too, like everyone else, to your right and your left. Probably up, because MSPA is very short. Now, me and my Clade, we can't stay here for long. That would be needlessly endangering all of you. But the truths I speak tonight, the questions I raise, those don't stop the moment I'm gone. I try to speak not for self-validation or to give myself some kind of reputation, but instead to enable all of you to find those truths for yourself, pose your own questions, and help build each other up. Those trolls you looked in the eyes tonight, if you see them struggling, speak out, take action, become each other's pillars. The Empress wants each of you, no matter your blood color, to feel like the rest of the world is against you. Prove her wrong and build a family out of her village. Build a thing that will long outlast something as minuscule as my presence. Because I'm telling you right now, whatever you create together will be far more powerful than just me or my words. Damn. Bars. MSPA just sitting back and going like, wow. You hope he sticks around after so you can say hi and also reiterate to him the exact level of bars he just reached. You notice behind him, the yellow blood seems to be staring at you? Menacingly? Menacing. You can't say for certain with his eyes and all, but you can't shake the feeling you're being assessed, somehow. The silence starts speaking again, and you're trying to focus. You really are, but now you know for certain that troll has not moved his eyes from you that entire time. Fuck. How do you make yourself look less conspicuous? Maybe a chill little whistling moment. No one looks conspicuous when they're whistling. Except you remember, you're in the middle of a sermon and whistling would be distracting, so instead you mime whistle, making no actual noise but still upping your stealth buff. You cross your arms and look up at the ceiling for good measure, just like... Alright, so that definitely did not work, because now you can see him quietly leave his place from behind the silence and hug the edge of the crowd, to approach you without making a scene. Hi, what's up, buddy? I love his art. It's very, it's kind of like Disney-esque. I really like it, though. I really like the Psionic's art. I really like this background art, too. He stands tall above you. Without saying a word, he points to himself, and then you, and then a door a couple paces away. You know that means he wants you to follow. You gulp for air. Gulp. Oh, that's cool. Having just his eye show. You're plunged into the dark of a storage room, only a bit larger than a closet. The door shut behind you. He gestures to a chair in the middle, and you sit. Without the glow of the bar, you can't make any of his features out anymore, and you feel as if you're in some type of crime noir film interrogation scene. Alright. Let's get this show on the road. So, you may be wondering, what does this incredibly cool and also badass looking individual want from me? You nod your head vigorously. Cool and also badass. Yes, both of those things are true. Well, I'll tell you. When I saw you in the audience, I felt this weird as fuck kind of cosmic force come over me, telling me I needed to pay attention to you and communicate with you in some long time consuming social exchange. He dramatically flicks the lights on. That smile, which is obviously my gut telling me you're an Imperial spy. Boom, another case closed. Is that true, buddy? Is that really true? Not again. You begin to complain to yourself, man, what is it with this family assuming you're a government plant? But then you think about the fact that that implies they've had people double-cross them before, and that just makes you depressed, so you don't air your frustration. You also get the feeling that you really, really shouldn't be able to remember that, but with all the time fuckery you realize you've been able to do in the past so often, you would like not to think about that too much. Want you no offense? Just I suspected. It's like a teal blood. No, wait, you have a defense? Silence is your friend. You guys hung out, and he made you coffee and said a bunch of big words to you. Big words that I totally understood. Well, no offense, but you look really weird. Thank you? I would even say government engineered spy level weird. But it doesn't sound very on brand for Sign to befriend a small weird person and then invite them over to info dump at them. Exactly! He just fucking talks, doesn't he? And you're sure the silence could back your claim up. Thank you very much, Mr. Wait, did he ever give you his name? Not yet. He makes a face like makes a face at that. What the fuck? Of course not. Sorry, but that's like 10th base for me. Oh, only 3 trolls on the whole planet know my hatch name, and I'd like to keep it that way. Right, okay. Could you have, what did the Dolorosa call it? A title? Could you have his title then? There you go. I'm the Psionic. He looks, he's deliberating something for a second, and then adds, and I'm sorry about the whole bringing you into a broom closet and accusing you of being an imperialist thing. It's no sweat. That happens all the time. You get it all the time, actually. But wait, like, a Psionic? Isn't that a whole subclass of people here? Well, yeah, but I mean, not to make a big deal out of it or anything, but I'm the best there ever was, so... He gives you a wink and lets red and blue sparks flare around him for a second for emphasis. You can tell he's having a lot of fun showing off. That's a Psionic to you. That's the Psionic to you. Oh, fuck. He has red and blue gloves. This man does not know how to dress himself. Fucking hell. Let me adjust my camera for a second there. He drops the energy flying around him as his gaze shifts from you to the door's window behind you. So I think we've been put in a situation. What do you mean by situation? Actually, single quotes, not double quotes. Wordlessly, he picks you up by the waist and lifts you so you're you're the right height to peek out of the closet's door window, and nothing seems to be the matter. Just a couple of heads pressed up against the door in an overwhelming sea of trolls you only recently got out of. He points against the glass. See that? In their ear cranny? In one of the silhouettes closest to the door, you can make out a bright red earpiece peeking out ever so slightly from behind their hair. After a couple of seconds, they press a claw to it, only to put their hand back down moments after. That's Imperial tech. Oh boy! Good! We're escaped. We're in a spy film now. Oh boy, it's right. He gently puts you back down onto the floor and then exasperatedly, is that a word? Paces the extremely cramped room for a minute before saying, "So, in summary, I needlessly accuse you of being a plant, well, a real plant without thought the door the entire time. Very epic of me. Okay, I need to figure out a way to deal with this. Everything doesn't go to shit in the next 2 seconds. Oh, but you want to, but you want to help figure it out with him too. You're an extremely useful partner in crime. That's not true in the slightest. He gives you a once-over. I don't know. You need to prove that you're a great ally to have on a side. You hit the floor and show off your physical prowess by doing like 200 push-ups or something, and won't take no for an answer. Cross your arms and get your game face on. This sounds stupid, but is that why it's the right answer? I don't know. We're gonna find out. Let's hit the floor and show off your physical prowess by doing like 200 push-ups or something. So perhaps you end up going in for the first push-up and fall flat on your face a little bit. I mean, it's not like you've had ample time to hit the gym in between having winged alien girls throw you into time portals. But that won't stop you. You get back into your push-up power stance, my pups, and go in for the second one and... Nope, that's not happening. Your elbows bend at a nearly undetectable rate. Getting up, you try to play it off like you just achieved a great athletic feat and dust off your hands for emphasis. Confidence is key, right? Maybe not. Sai looks very unimpressed. Look, kid. This can get dangerous, and you're already a very breakable creature. Compared to like an actual troll, I mean, I don't know if that's just the norm for your species. I don't want to assume. Wait, are you even partnering with species, or are you just vibing? Right! I'm probably just vibing, honestly. You did explain the whole you existing thing. You're an alien. Oh, dope. Anyway, that might not be smart for you to face down troll cops just yet. But you still want to be included in the plan. Surely he could think of something for you to be useful. Alright. Rough draft of the plan so far, let me know your thoughts. So, I go out there and deal with the Fed, and basically fix everything super effectively and nothing goes wrong. One stage plan, I approve. You put your hand to your chin in thoughtful-looking deliberation. Very well thought out and thorough start to the plan. You like his angle, but where do you fit in? Right, I was just about to get to that part. You stay the fuck here. You'll be tasked with the Covenant a highly important responsibility of guarding this closet, which I have now given the moniker Essential Plan Meeting Room. Honestly, you'll take it. I'm fine with that. You know he's just trying to keep you safe. It feels nice to know you have a role in everything. After I've executed the first part of the plan, I'll rendezvous at the Essential Plan Meeting Room so we can go over the missions, successes and failures, and then we can get back to the Thurman. I shouldn't be gone for more than half an hour, tops. Half an hour? They're right fucking there! What the fuck are you gonna do? Sound okay? You give him a little salute to show your unwavering loyalty, which he smiles at fondly. You can nearly taste the friendship of it all. And then he's gone. He opens the door and he just fucking leaves me here. He opens the door and peeking on your tiptoes through the window, you can see him say something to the troll, who then follows him out of sight. He vaporizes him. So you wait, you take your duties very seriously, standing parallel to the door with your back against the cupboard shelf, in a composed kind of way, which you hope will read as intimidating if anyone tries to lay siege to the Essential Plan Meeting Room, or the Epmer. Time passes at a speed you nearly can't gauge at all for a while there, but you swear it's been at least half an hour. Maybe you're making that up, but it feels like the right ballpark. He could have just ran into some complications, and that's why he's late, but the thought of what those complications might entail makes your stomach twist with worry. After a while longer, you peek out the window again. As the sermons progress, the crowd seems to have gotten even tighter, but there's still no sign of Sai or the other troll in sight. You briefly think about scratching tally marks along the wall, but that seems a bit dramatic. Yeah. Another eternity goes by and at this point, you're on the floor staring at the ceiling. Yeah, he didn't seem too keen on you actually being out in the field calling out an imperialist, but he wasn't a dick about it. You know he'd check in with you when the job was done. From outside the door, you can't hear the silence's words anymore, just quiet, and for the second time tonight, you feel hopelessly alone. Sai doesn't come back, and from somewhere deep and unexplainable in your heart, you get the feeling that a terrible, terrible thing has happened. Closet time. Wow, I wasn't actually sure that was gonna be the bad one. Alright, well, hell yeah. Alright, zip on by. Alright, so now, we won't take no for an answer, cross your arms, and get your game face on. You show him you will be fazed by nothing, that you can fell every foe in your path. You try to mimic the mirror image of the way you saw him stand behind the silence, all composed, emitting the strongest, just try and fuck with me energy you can muster. The Psionic appreciates that, gives you an approving grin. Oh, excuse me. Whoa. I hit buttons. Yeah, fuck it, why not? You can help. Actually, it's a good you offer, because there's a part of this I generally do not know if I'm able to pull off alone. Oh, an important special touch just for you? Do go on. I would love to feel important. Though, I'm going to need to get this MF out of the building stat so I can de-escalate the situation. Does de-escalate translate to vaporize in a remote location? See, now if I just go out there metaphorical guns blazing and tell them to catch me outside, Sign's going to know something though. He's in the middle of a sermon, and it actually looks like it's going well, and the last thing he needs is to be worrying over the bullshit I get myself into. But if you were to make up some story to the Fed to get them to follow you out the back entrance into the alley, we keep a low profile and everyone's happy. You're following him so far, but also you shouldn't say what he does is BS. He's trying to protect his family, and that's very important. Are you trying to get deep with me? His face is screaming, you better damn not be. You don't say anything. Great, glad we're on the same page. Moving on. Sorry, I had to check something real quick. I'm gonna leave right now out the front door, and you're going to have to wait a couple of minutes after me to leave, so it doesn't look as conspicuous as us busting out of here at the same time. Are you ready? You nod determinedly. Your face grave. Thick. Psi leads. You remember to count out a minute or two before you open the door yourself, and fuck, you just remembered you did not plan out at all what you're going to say to this troll. Well, if there's one thing you're good at, it's winging it. Hey, you suck. You shove yourself a little to the right in the crowd, so it looks like you're walking over to approach them and didn't just magically appear behind them. You mock looking around in a distressed way as if desperately searching for anyone who can help. You orchestrate jump bumping into them and then tugging on the sleeve of their blouse. Indigo eyes stare down at you. Or stare you down. Here we go. Here we go. You speak only a little above a whisper, so as to not disrupt the sermon. The silence is a clear voice drowning you out to anyone that wasn't directly next to you. Your Lucis got, stuck in a tree. An alley tree. In the alley. Could you please help a poor deformed troll out? The Indigo Blood seems very, very unfazed by that. You can't let Psi down. Also, troll Danny DeVito's out there and he's doing signatures. The Indigo Blood looks at you, and then at the silence, and then back at you, and sighs in agreement. You take their hand and squeeze your way past the sea of trolls, leading the way to the back exit. You open the door and usher them down the steps, and... Slam! Okay, we're just going right into it, huh? Red and blue... it's very Danny Phantom, actually. Red and blue flares and hugs the Indigo Blood in a grip of pure energy, throwing them against the brick wall and pinning them there, several feet above the ground. It happened so fast. You fucked with the wrong family. He nearly spits the words. So much for de-escalating the situation. The scene is a lot to take in. There's a lot going on. You remember your confrontation with a high blood when you were hanging out with a Signless. You guess you expected a lot more talking and less slamming and death beams. You're frozen on the steps. The Indigo Blood tries to test their movement in the psionic hold, but everything below their neck seems practically paralyzed with how hard they're being held down. What the fuck is this? When Psi seems completely unfazed by their writhing and protest, they continue. I was just trying to listen to the sermon. I am a follower, and I won't be treated like this just because I'm a high blood. Our movement, is about pacifism and peace, is it not? What would your preacher say about this? The struggle gets to the straight one more time, for emphasis. Psi looks like he's about to laugh in the midst of his anger, and with his sigh circling around him, dancing off his limbs and making the air feel nearly tangible with energy, you have to admit, it's a terrifying sight. You're right. No, you're right. It is. Pacifism and peace, etc., etc. My preacher would tell you as much. Talk to you real nice and slow so you understand. Try to worm his way into your head with all his pretty words and make you see straight. That's what he did to me. But I'm not my preacher. I'm not my preacher, and luckily for you, I know you're bullshitting me. And unluckily for you, I know you're bullshitting me. With an audible dislodging sound and a sharp cry of pain, he rips the earpiece out with a sigh, and... Was that physically attached to their ear? That can't feel too great. Psi hovers the bright red piece in front of their face for emphasis. So please, go on talking about how it's our movement when you've had Imperial tech in your ear cranny the entire night, lol. I'm waiting. The indigo blood drops the act and looks down at Psy with a cool contempt. They try to spit on the ground for emphasis, but it just hits the energy field they're surrounded by and sizzles into oblivion. That truly was not the move, as Psy just makes his hold. That truly was not the move, as Psy just makes his hold tighter and more unforgiving. The reds and blues surrounding them both pulsating and getting even more vivid. It sends some kind of primal fear into the indigo blood, and only then do they continue speaking. Hey, easy, think about what my death would bring. What would it say about your movements? Kindness. Is it really worth it? Psy doesn't falter for a second. Cute. So, what do you suppose I do then? Pat you on the back and let you go? Trust the goodness in your heart and that love prevailed all? And then what do? You run back to your empire. Tell them about the village. Record the shape of every thing you saw in that room tonight. The hash names of every troll that gave us shelter. The exact location of my clade. I know you all have a superiority complex, but you did not think his precious science could get any stronger, but whoops, there goes this, goes the way it just happened. If you had to guess, you would say this high blood is about 2 seconds from being reduced to a pile of ash. I'm not fucking stupid. Do you want to witness his death tonight? You yell at him to stop, tell him he's spitting bars. Oh no. Oh no, what's the right one? Oh fuck, shit. Oh damn it, okay. Alright, yell at him to stop, the high blood lives, the high blood does in fact run off, or maybe they get so afraid of just how powerful the psionic is and they just fuck off and just leave. Or they tell him he's spitting bars and he fucking murders somebody and the Signless sees it. That's a possibility. We ain't being quiet, that's for damn sure. Oh boy. I'm gonna say we tell him he's spitting bars. That seems like a bad thing. Death is usually a bad thing. Yeah, let's go with that. Tell him he's spitting bars. Damn, Psy's making major points. There really is no way of concretely trusting this high blood not to just double cross Psy's kindness if we were to let them go, and as he said, put everyone in that sermon in danger, their clade especially. You have to give it to him. From your place on the steps of the back door, you cup your hands to your mouth and say supportive bars, because yeah, those were bars right there. The sudden disruption distracts Psy, and he breaks his concrete stare at the indigo blood to look over in your direction for the briefest of moments. But that was all it took. You can see the outline of Psionic holding the troll up grow less vivid and opaque as he turns to you, and in that moment, with his concentration gone, the troll he was holding fights free from his grip. In less than an instant, they recover with a roll upon hitting the ground and grab a broken piece of the axle of a scuttle wagon littering the alley, knocking Psy on the head with it from behind. There's nothing you can do as you watch it happen. No time to call out and warn him. And Psy falls to the floor unconscious, or worse. Oh fuck. In a flash of movement, somewhere in the peripheral of your vision, the high blood scampers off somewhere. The thought crosses your mind that you could go after them. You're definitely not the most adept at handling whole-ass adult troll completely alone, but you'd have a start on them at least. You could try. What do? Stay and help him. Okay, I don't. Okay, I have one option, in which case I have no choices. But you can't go after them, can you? Not when there's a troll right in front of you who you had a whole closet bonding moment with, who put his trust in you and now needs your help. No way are you going to abandon him. Shit. Is this the good ending? Fuck! You run over and kneel where he lays there fallen, untangle him, so you can put his injured head in your lap. You were definitely not equipped to handle this in the slightest. You usually look for his pulse, right? Do trolls even have pulses? You take his wrist and pinch and feel the steady beat of blood rushing through his artery, and you realize that was a silly question. They have the alien equipment of heart, so they must also have the alien equipment of a pulse, too. Get it together, MC. You just feel like you're in the deep end with all of this, just everything going on. You put your hand in front of his mouth to feel for breathing. So it's a very good thing that he's alive, but you have no idea if he's going to wake up anytime soon, and that terrifies you. You don't know what more you can do, but stay there for him. So you wait, you sneak off for a second to sneakily open the back door just to crack and check in on the sermon, but everything still seems to be going smoothly. No one aware of everything that just occurred outside. Which is probably for the best. You know Psy likes to handle things on his own when he can, and would probably get pissed if you told the clade and let them intervene. Still, as you go back to sit with Psy and elevate his head once more to make sure he can breathe right, you know he needs more than just your help, even if he does get cagey about interrupting his family. You resolve that if he doesn't improve soon, you're going to the Dolorosa. Just to think that though, Psy snaps back into consciousness. He hisses and scampers away from you back onto his wobbly legs, reaching an arm up behind him to the base of his skull with a wince. He looks at you on the floor, and then at the complete absence of the troll on the alley wall, and then both ways out into the street beyond, still clearly coming into lucidity. What just happened? Where are they? You immediately stand up, dusting off your knees, and relay to him the events that just happened like 15 minutes ago. The axle to his head. He was out for a while. Actually, speaking of that, he should really ice his head. Lay down for a bit, maybe. Where are they? Right about that, Jibron. We're gonna get to that point there, buddy. So you're all caught up in, making sure he wasn't dead and everything, that you couldn't really take the time to, hunt them down or anything. Do you remember what direction they were headed, at least? Come to think of it, you can't say you do, exactly, but everything was happening all at once, and you were just scared for him, is all. You needed to make sure he was okay first and foremost, and everything else kind of faded into the background. So, there's just the Highblood working for the Empire, somewhere in this town, who might have all kinds of sensitive information about the movement, and actually knows we're onto them. And you let them just go just because I was hurt? He's raising his voice, but it's out of fear. It's out of fear. It still hurts. You open your mouth, but you can't say anything. There's quiet between the both of you, and Sai looks at you sympathetically. 1 second, ow. He feels for the back part of his head again, steadies himself. Okay, I didn't mean to blow up you, and that was fucked up for me, and I want to reiterate that what happened back there was not your fault, it was completely mine, but his face goes very serious. But in the grand scheme of things, my life does not matter in the slightest. I don't think you will. I don't think you will be, but if you are ever in the situation of choosing between my safety or the safety of the movement again, you choose the movement. You choose the movement every single time. Am I clear? You tell him you don't agree with that. He matters. He matters as an individual, and that's why you helped him, and you do it all over again. We're seriously not going to have the conversation right now. Sorry, but if y'all are going to be partners in crime together, he's going to have to deal with you caring about his well-being. This way, you can make sure he's okay, and the both of you still have time to track down that Highblood and make sure they don't disclose any information that could compromise the movement. Everyone wins. Sai kind of squints at you, like he's about to disagree, but as the silence stretches, do you think he's actually going to drop it? That's if we still have time. And there it is, you spoke too soon. Oh, wow, let's go through all the sprites. Sorry, whoa, I cannot keep up with this. Could have information in the sound. Fucking hell. Alright, let's try this again. Sorry, really trying not to be pessimistic right about, except I'm trying to actually think about the hunk and fuck pessimistic. Actually, anywhere. Could have other informants in the town that could be headed right now in family. It's not well enough to deal with the alleyways, our concrete starting point. I don't have anyone surprised on the side. He's talking alarmingly fast, not even stopping to breathe in between his words. Okay, this MF needs to de-escalate, needs some de-escalation of his own. You tell him to slow down. Slow down, okay. Take some deep breaths. Miraculously, he listens to you. Once you've gotten him visibly less shaken, you tell him that both of you can do this, even though you have no semblance of a plan in your brain right now besides run around the streets aimlessly trying to find them. You can do this! Let's just, make a plan. This is now the important plan meeting alley. So far, the two of you have been great at plans. This does not have to be the end of the world. I wouldn't go that far, but you're right. Sorry about my fail freak out circa 10 seconds ago. I'm over it now. It's no worries. Sometimes it simply be that way. Sometimes it do be that way. We've already wasted enough time with my whole brain injury moment. I feel like a thinning quack beef staying here. Let's get moving. Want to flip a coin or something to figure out which side of the alley we start heading down? Because I honestly can't think of a better way to determine that at this point, considering we already have no leads at all. Why not further leave it to fate? Fuck it. When has that ever gone wrong? You look down at the floor for a moment because you feel really bad you didn't take better note of which way they were headed. Curse your low perception. But then you see it. The blood from one side yanked the earpiece. You can't see the bright red shell of the actual earpiece anywhere on the floor. The troll must have grabbed it when they made their exit, but their blood from the injury is still clotting the pavement in little droplets. You follow the little trail of indigo here and there, and sure enough, it leads right out of the right side of the alley. Sai notices what you're doing and gives you a smile. I got that fucking good ending, didn't I? Son of a bitch. Fucking, what was that? For the first time since he's woken up, he looks almost hopeful. Oh, like they're really smart of you. You beam! See? Now you both have an actual lead to investigate. This is still totally doable. You're right, okay. Game faith on. Let's get this grub loaf. Let's get this. Isn't grub loaf bread? Let's get this bread? Is that a saying? I don't think that's a saying. I don't think that's a thing, Psionic. With that, the two of you make a mad dash following the trail of blue out of the alley and into the streets, rushing to make up for lost time. You zigzag in between buildings until you're so exhausted you have to consciously think about breathing, every inhale burning as it goes down. Beside you, Sai has an unbreakable focus, triple-checking the blood trail is still underneath every second or so, constantly splitting his focus down and up at what's in front of him. He looks desperate, to the point where you tangibly feel it in the air. The baby hairs at the base of your neck are sticking straight up. It feels oddly personal, seeing him feel so powerless, and you want to make things better, as is your usual gut instinct. You tell him in a calming voice, you know, even if his fears are right, even if for some reason we don't find them, you're sure his family isn't going to blame him for that. You've met the Silence at Dolorosa. They're really understanding people, and they seem to just want what's best for everyone. And they already really care about him, so that's not even an option right now. I don't even want to think about that, okay? I don't know if you've noticed this, but I fuck up a lot. It's something I've been trying to work on. But if that means I have to drag them down with me and fix my mistakes, I can't let that happen. They don't deserve that. Okay, but like, he's not fucking up though. But like, no, bro. Over the course of one night, he's been put in a lot of situations. Fucking eyes itchy. And every time he's just trying to make the best of possible choice. Nobody's going to make him feel bad for just trying to help. Cool. So I've got an A for effort and nothing else. That sure is helpful of me. He looks down one more time and then back up at you, halting both of you in your tracks. Alright, we've also got a new awesome development on our hands. The blood trail ends here. You look down to see for yourself and yep, there's one measly trickle of indigo and then nothing for the entire rest of the street as far as you can see. You run ahead to make sure the blood is really gone because it can't be. That means you're both at square one again, and you can't let that happen. Sai's gonna freak and you hear the rustling of, hopefully, troll-like movement around the street's corner, which makes you completely freeze up on instinct. That could be them. Y'all could catch them here and now. In a swift motion, you crouch to make sure your shadow doesn't peek out, and motion for Sai to come join you. He must have heard it too, because he gives you wide eyes, silently dashing over to hug the wall beside you. Holy fuck. He's whispering, but it doesn't hide the anticipation in his voice, the hope. I didn't think it would be the thing. Okay, on my call, I'm going to jump out and put them in a hold. Try not to, like, die or anything. 3, 2... And then Sai jumps out. There was definitely supposed to be a 1 in there, but alright. Alright, fine, I'll let it slide. Anyways, you feel the air reminiscently go static and completely unmoving. Watch the sparks leave his fingertips, and then unceremoniously fizzle out into nothing. He grabs again at the base of his skull, curling in on himself with a pained yelp. Oh boy, this is not good. You rush over to help him in theory, but you also know this is some weird troll teleconnect ability shit, or the TTAS, and have absolutely zero medical knowledge on. You feel the same way you felt around Follicle, kinda. Just the whole having no clue what's going on, but knowing they're suffering from some bad alien affliction. Maybe being in his general vicinity will subconsciously help him vis-a-vis. Good old moral support. I'm good at moral support, kinda. You hear a, what in the fuck was that supposed to be? From behind you and turn to see definitely not an indigo blood staring the both of you down. They're an olive blood, and they look pissed. Which, I mean, is totally understandable, considering y'all just special ops stumbled out of a corner and poised to attack them. Here I am, minding my damn business, when a psionic end up... They stop and consider you for a moment. Whatever the fuck that is comes special ops tumbling out of a corner poised to attack me. Hey, aren't you with that preacher everyone's been talking about? The one that walks around in a blanket? Sai looks like he's still in approximately a lot of pain, so just roundabouts a lot of pain, so you draft yourself to handle this one. You assure the Olive that this was all a huge mistake. See, you both kind of have a score to settle with someone. You know, vengeance, fighting, normal Alternian pastimes you're sure they can relate to, but you both totally confuse them with someone else. You hope they understand. Makes sense, yeah, whatever. Definitely been there. Just don't try that shit again or we're gonna have a problem. I didn't mean to try to hurt you, honest. It's from somewhere behind you and it catches you off guard. You really didn't think Sai was alright enough to say anything. I wouldn't have done that if I knew you weren't who I was looking for. I'm sorry. The Olive blood seems very taken aback. By that. In fact, way more taken aback than they were having nearly gotten into a scuffle. They look all vulnerable for a moment, kind of like the way the Cerulean did when the Silence spoke to them. You figure trolls don't hear apologies all that often. Then they glare at him, spit on the floor, and scamper away to the darkness. Well, that could have gone a lot worse, and look at that, he apologized. You're sure the Silence would have been very proud of that, using his teachings and everything. Sai makes a face. Finally thought up my keeper. I apologize because I'm not a huge bulgeweed, not for some invincible revolution brownie point. Invisible revolution brownie point. Oof, there you go again, saying the wrong thing. Why are you so bad at all this friendship business all of a sudden? Making friends is like definitely one of the only skills you got going for you. So, my thigh's completely shot now, which is cool. So, I mean, even if we do catch them, it'll be kind of pointless thing of, I don't have the advantage anymore. Where did all this self-doubt come from? Wasn't he hyping himself up as one of the best Psionics to ever breathe air like an hour ago? Let's bring that positivity back. Oh, badass confident, no brain rot me had definitely left the chat a while ago, unfortunately. You're stuck with incompetent, insufferable me for the foreseeable future. Feel free to bail now. Also, I mean, considering I can't even use my Psionics right now without verging on a meltdown, it's not like I can bring that to the table anymore. You pointed that maybe it was good that his powers fucked up when they did. You know, he wouldn't have wanted to hurt some random bystander. It shouldn't have ever gotten to that point. The thing. I shouldn't have tried to blindly attack anyone. I should have dealt with the cold blood when I had the chance then and there. This just fucking sucks because in normal circumstances, I could use my thigh to get us to a high vantage point, and we can actually see all the three all at once and try to spot them the way that way. But that's completely out of the picture now. Wait, I could still try. You tell him that he definitely shouldn't try that, even if you know it's going to further fuck with his brain. Or even you know. Yeah, okay, I'm going to try. Ah, fuck. Sai gets about 2 centimeters off the ground before hitting the pavement again. Yeah, as you said, no more telekinesis shit for a while. You're going to have to think of a plan that doesn't involve psionics. So, what is the plan exactly? Where are we going? We keep moving. That's it? That's the plan? Yeah, that's it. That's the plan. Please tell me if you have a better idea. So you keep moving. You walk for what must be hours upon hours until you feel your feet start to blister, until you're sure you've passed this same street over and over again. Every time you steal a look at him, you can see in his face he already has his mind made up how this night's going to end. You're trying to stay positive. You really are, but it's hard when you can tangibly feel how completely done he is. Come to think of it, it's as if he knew you were both going to fail since the beginning, since he got hit over the head. Like he's just been going through the motions ever since. Maybe you're reading into it too much, but that kind of thought gives you an uncanny, kind of infectious feeling. All the same. The sky turns just a few shades lighter, and you know in due time the unforgiving sun is going to rear its ugly head from behind the mountain skyline. There's no urgency to either of your pace anymore. There hasn't been for a while now. The two of you move as if you know you have to, because this is how it has to play out, far beyond either of your control. You watch as Sai looks and eventually acknowledges the sky too. You think something privately to yourself, something you didn't think you'd ever let yourself say tonight. This is fucking hopeless. This is fucking hopeless. Don't you get it? This is the one thing I'm good at, keeping them safe, and I fucked up. Sai takes a deep breath, has a little get yourself together moment as he rubs his hands in his face. He looks really, really tired. I should probably go back to my family. Tell Fine and Die? D.I. Disciple, got it. Tell Fine and D.I. and Rosa what happened. I mean, I don't even know if they're going to want me after this. Like, I very much just proven myself to be a giant liability. I need to track down everyone who was at the Thurman and let them know too. It's the least I could do considering they're all in danger now on account of me and everything. I mean, we're probably going to need to rehome them. I don't think it's safe for them to stay here. But I have actually no idea where they could go where it would be safe. I can't ask a whole town to leave their community they've built. Fuck. You tell him you could go with him, you know, help him explain. In your head, it was supposed to sound reassuring, but your tone got completely lost somewhere in between the words. Thanks for offering, I guess. But this is the repentance I need to ask for alone. This sucks. Well, damn. Well, shit. Well, that was a long bad ending. Holy fuck. All right. Well, hey, we're gonna get the good one now. I'm not gonna take no for an answer. And then we zip on through and yell at him to stop. You remember what you learned from your time with the scientists. Surely, there must be a way to get out of this with both parties unharmed and the movement's discretion kept, isn't there? So you yell, stop, and then a little quieter and more comforting, wait. Let's think about this. Remember when we were talking just a few seconds ago? Yeah, let's go back to that. Talking, conversation. Take a deep breath, baby. With your voice, Sai lets a shaky breath out. You didn't realize how tightly he was wound until he exhaled. Damn, you kind of can't believe he actually listened to you. The indigo blood is still trapped against the wall, but it's more of a calmer hold and less of a, I'm about to vaporize you in the next second time. Good. You're getting somewhere. Okay, think. What would the silence do now? What would the silence, WWTSD, if you will. You're about to open your mouth again, because so far that's gotten you out of most things, when suddenly a sharp and loud noise sounds from what must be a couple blocks away from you. It's nothing, but the disruption is sudden and unexpected enough that every muscle inside his body tenses right back up. Sorry about that. In a fraction of a moment, the psionics around both of them flare into a sea of blinding light. You shut your eyes tight at the sight of it, but if just looking at it could hurt you, you hear a kind of zapping sound, and every hair on your body sticks straight up. A metallic taste is thick on your tongue. A scream gets cut short. And when you finally open your eyes again, the troll isn't against the wall anymore. In fact, the troll isn't anywhere. Or everywhere. We could argue they're everywhere now. For a moment you panic, thinking they got away, when you look down and see a pile of charred bones where they were once hovering. Well! You take a look at Sai to assess the damage. His psionics aren't surrounding him anymore. His posture achingly still, feet planted firmly on the floor. You can see his chest rise and fall with heavy breaths. He's not looking at you, or anything else around him, just staring straight ahead. Maybe you should go back up to place a caring hand on his shoulder to help him calm down. You're really trying to find some way to salvage the situation and get those friendship vibes rolling. Yeah, okay, not one of your smartest plans. He nearly jumps out of his own skin as you try to reach him to comfort him, hisses and backs away suddenly. What the fuck, get away from me. You shrink into yourself. Why does everything you do just end up making things worse? You take your outstretched hand and pull it back to yourself, cradling it in your other, suddenly not knowing what to do with yourself. Sai looks back at you and sighs. Okay, I didn't mean to snap at you. I just, you just then, honest. If you touch me right now, I don't know if you'd be safe. I could just fucking electrocute you on the spot or some shit. I don't know how your feeble creature body would react to it. I mean, no offense. By the way, this might not be the best time to be asking this, but what are you? No judgment or anything. You thought he'd never ask. You tell him you're an alien. Oh, dope. Anyways, so, addressing the situation at hand, I really did just commit murder right then, so I completely understand if you'd want to cut your losses and scram before you get involved any further. You shake your head and plant your feet firmly on the floor. You asked to be part of this plan, and you're not going to just bail when shit gets real. You're going to see it to its end. Damn, that's... Thanks, I appreciate it. You want to say that's what friends are for, right? But that might be pushing the friendship bill a little too soon. Instead, you tell him it's no worries. You like being his partner in crime. Is there anything you can do to help? Right, new plan, huh? So first course of action, let's split up and check each end of the alley and make sure no one thought shit. Understood. You diligently walk the opposite way from Sai and peek your head out of the corner of the alley, looking this way and that. The streets are still a ghost town, and there's no one around for as far as you can see. You meet him back at the bone pile and relay your feelings. We're gonna be back at the bone pile! Epic. I think that means we're in the clear on that front. Something on the floor catches your eyes, and while crouching down to pick it up, you realize it was the earpiece from before. There are wires haphazardly sticking out of it from where it was yanked, and you notice they look less like actual wires and more like squirming little invertebrates. It makes you shiver at the alienness. Technology really shouldn't be alive like that. Maybe you're just being close-minded, but you hand it over to Sai because you assume he has a way better understanding of how to handle it. He pockets it with a nod, and suddenly his gaze turns downward. Next order of business, the bones. You look down at the pile next to your feet. Yeah, the bones are going to be an issue. Well, I mean, we can bury them. That's what you do with bones. I'm going to take them somewhere far out and bury them, for thoroughness' sake. I don't want anyone here getting blamed for something that was my fault to begin with. I mean, even allowing us to be here is enough trouble to put on them already. Roger that. With a D. Does it always have a D? Maybe it always has a D. You pick up a bone off the floor and securely cradle it in your arms so Sai sees that you're ready to go. He smiles at you amusedly. You really want to help with this part too? Of course, till the end, remember? So he lets you carry that bone and effortlessly picks up the entire pile with a sigh. You're sure they could have all fit in his arms, but he always looks like he really enjoys using his powers at any chance he gets, just because he can. I mean, why wouldn't you? If you have fucking powers like that, why wouldn't you use it? You want to be nosy, but as you guys trace the outskirts of the town, making sure to stay unseen, you find yourself asking why exactly he does that. He obviously seems really proud. You're telling me if you were a hash with incredibly badass mind power, you wouldn't spend every waking moment wanting to show that off? Okay, points are made. Points are made and noted. The town around you fades into the background as both of you reach the edge of the forest. There's a marked path in front of you, but Sai elects to lead you both through the thicket of the trees instead, away from any potential passersby. I don't know. It makes me feel good to know I can do whatever I want with my thigh and no one can say anything about it, even if it's something as technically useless as carrying around a bunch of bones. It's something that's mine. So, the whole killing people with his thigh thing, you really don't know how to phrase this correctly. Does it happen like often, or his face gets gravely serious? Only to protect others, or out of self-defense. It's not like I wake up in the evening going, gee, who am I going to call tonight or anything? But yeah, sometimes shit happens. And the silence is okay with that. You sure know how to pick light travel conversation topics. Oh boy, hey, that came out all wrong, didn't it? You didn't mean to overstep, really? Don't worry, I'm just fucking with you. Considering you're my co-conspirator and high-blood assassinations now, I feel like you have the right to pry a little. Nosy rights. You think to yourself, all you can do with this newfound power, the friendship crafting possibilities. Sai's not my keeper. He understands I'm my own troll, and whatever decisions I make are on me. And he trusts I know how to do the right thing. But what's right for me and what's right for him don't line up perfectly. Sai thinks everyone has the potential for good. And I don't know if I can let myself agree with that. Not all the time, but I'd really like to be proven wrong. Anyways, yeah. Turns out morality is a fuck is a fuck sometimes. Morality is a fuck sometimes. How about that? But it's not like he'd be able to do anything like that himself, hurting anybody, I mean. Even if it was necessary, even if it meant he'd end up on the other side of the other end of the culling fork. I love him, but his puss is kind of broken that way. You get that. From what you've seen of the Silence, at least, he definitely seems like he has much less of a penchant for violence than your average Alternian. Right, it's weird. But also really sweet. Wow, I got extremely affectionate, then I apologize. Cringe alert. No cringe alert, no, not the gossip or anything, but you retell the moment the Dolorosa called the Clade the most important people in the world to her, and when the Silence called him the pieces of his heart, it's obvious they all care a lot about each other. He smiles at that, but not in a surprise kind of way, just a familiar comfortability. Yeah, I guess it kind of goes without saying at this point, but I would do literally anything for those bitches. Do anything for those bitches. They gave me my life, and I'm still trying to find a way to repay them for it. Well, not to offer your opinion where it isn't needed, but you think he doesn't have to repay anything. You mean just look at everything he's done tonight, just to make sure nothing went wrong at the Silence's sermon. And from how the others talk about it, they sound like it means a lot to them just to have him around. It's just that whoa, I was just about, I was about to just go absolutely buck wild and overshare just then. What the fuck? I swear, you have some kind of infectious complex emotion disease that compelled everyone within a 20-foot radius to start lamenting about their tragic backstories or some shit. It is something to talk, or some shit. It is something to talk about. Your vibe specifically. You silently cheer yourself on. Openness is the cornerstone of friendship. No, please continue. Really, I'm open to everything. You want to encourage him to open up even more, but you can tell that's not the smartest idea. You reckoned if you pushed any further, Sai would completely drop it and notch the topic again with a 10-foot pole. He kicks aimlessly at the forest floor. It's just that I've always had this feeling that I wouldn't live for very long. Maybe that's just some kind of learned low-blood instinct or whatever, but yeah, I had always kind of... Boy, I kind of always just been working under the assumption I was going to meet some short end, etc., etc. And before I met them, I used to tell myself it didn't matter if I died, say la vie. I didn't care. But now it sucks because I really do. I do care, and I have no idea how to deal with that. It was like I didn't have a purpose. I felt like I didn't mean anything, and then I met them, and for one perfect moment, suddenly, I had a purpose. And I'm like, oh shit, this is what having a life feels like. Sign talked to me like it was like I was an actual person for like 2 seconds, and immediately after that, I was like, okay, this is it, case closed. I would do anything for you now. I'd follow you off a cliff and thank you for it. And I'm not all that religious, but sometimes I find myself praying to the Elder's horror, that be for just a little more time, and just a couple more sweeps. Because every night when I wake up to them, and I just get to exist in the same space as them, I know there isn't anything I wouldn't give for just one more second of that. Oh, this hurts. Oh, because you know what happens to him. Oh, we do know what happens to the Psionic, and it ain't good. I mean, he gets to live a hell of a long time, but and not the way you want to, buddy. You think about all you learned about the Silence's revolution from Tysius, how it's doomed to fall apart. Apologies. Let me start that over. I smacked my fucking mic. Oh, this hurts. You think about all that you've learned from the Silence's revolution from Tysius, how it's doomed to fall apart. You think about how she didn't even know the titles of his clade members, how they're completely wiped from history, just vague silhouetted figures next to a mythical figure. And then you think about the troll in front of you, how real he is, how he's just not a footnote in a monologue said by an exhausted teal, and you know you're in no place to comfort him about the future. Why are you looking at me like that? Fuck. Shit! Was I looking? You glance away briefly, lost in the hostile-looking flora, the sharp angle of the branches of the trees, as Sai zigzags you down an impossible-to-predict path further into the woods. Why is everything terrifying here? You try to figure out how to respond. You don't come for him because you can't. Instead, you tell him you can relate. You have no idea how you made it this far, time fuckery included. You can picture yourself in these little snippets of moments where you surely met your demise afterward, but none of them feel fully real. But there's still kind of background noise in your disjointed memories. Like a collection of a bunch of bad nightmares you woke up from before it got too vivid. You don't like to dwell on things like that. Yeah, I don't know how long you've had to deal with Alternia, little alien, but that is basically the 24/7 mood. Count yourself unlucky you ever ended up on this bitch of a planet. No, but like, you're glad you're here now. If you never came to Alternia, you would have never befriended people who've challenged your viewpoint on life and have come from so many different backgrounds. If you never came to Alternia, you would have never met him or the Silence or the Dolorosa. And you think it's a real honor to see people actively trying to bring into existence something they believe in. I'm definitely not the authority in having healthy viewpoints on life, but that sounds like a good place to be at for you. When I first saw Thine interact with the world, it made me want to hide. to take him and Rotha and DI and bring them to some perfect place isolated from any possible threat so they would never get hurt. But I've grown up, and I know it's not that simple anymore. This place doesn't exist. There's always... Or that place doesn't exist. There's always going to be a threat. But being able to even just talk about it gives me some kind of feeling of agency over how our planet works, and that conversation brings agency to anyone we meet. It feels fucking exhilarating to know you have an impact, and I'll fight for everyone in our community to get to feel that too. The two of you find a clearing, somewhere deeper into the wild. Something that sounds like a mix between a bird and a panicked reptile hisses and screeches. Side kicks a big rock with his boot for emphasis. I think this is far enough away from the town to not be conspicuous. Oh right, you came here to bury a body. Right, that thing that we're doing. The bone Sai was holding hit the floor. You nod in agreement and toss your singular bone into the pile. On his hands and knees, he starts ripping into the soil with his claws, almost insect-like, as if he's digging a tunnel to burrow into. You're kind of surprised he didn't use his powers for this. Yeah, why didn't he do that? Slowly, you walk over to him and join him, dirt getting under your fingernails as the two of you dig a shallow hole. It's a quiet moment, but you like the way it feels. Just two bros in the middle of nowhere, wilding out, digging a hole. We're digging a grave together. Just two bros in the middle of nowhere, digging a grave. When all is said and done, you've got yourselves a sizable hole to work with. He dusts off his hands and makes what you think is eye contact with you. Okay, so if I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of disgusted at the degree to which I overshare tonight. You're a great listener and everything, don't get me wrong, but I would kind of prefer if after we get the fuck out of Dodge. After we get the fuck out of Dodge, we will pretend as if all this personal information I just disclosed actually was never iterated into existence. Does that sound fair to you? Hey, he calls you a good listener! 3 exclamation points! No, yeah, that makes sense, understandable. I get it, I'm cool, we're fine, we're chill. Nice. And with that, the two of you move the bones into their shallow grave, and you pack the last of the earth on top of all the secrets you just buried. You look at it for a moment, the patch of dirt newly patted back down tight, and then you remember where you are. The middle of the woods in Alternia, where every living thing will not hesitate to come for your throat. You circle around yourself, and you're hopelessly lost. Were you supposed to keep track of what direction the two of you went in relation from the town? Because you really, really didn't. Your throat tightens. You're going to be stuck here, aren't you? Because you didn't choose right, and this is where the bad thing happens now. And then something's going to attack you, because that's what always happens, and then you're going to get hurt, or Sai's going to get hurt, and it'll all be fault, and hey, look at me. You get your panic stare off of everything around you and look at him. He's perfectly calm, and it makes the dread in your stomach subside for just a second. I promise you we're going to be fine. He smiles. I did say I'm the most powerful psionic on the planet, right? You swallow and you're about to tell him, yes, he did say that, but before you can, energy surrounds you like an all-enveloping cocoon. He kind of scares you for just a second, instinctually. The air smells so metallic it burns your nostrils, and you feel like you're far too close to something so lethal. Your animal instinct makes you want to scamper away. Ooh, that's neat. But then he lifts you up, out of the tangling underbrush of the forest, and shoots you straight into the air, thousands of stories high. Him right next to you the entire time, cutting through the sky all graceful and effortless. Both of you float slowly to a halt. You feel like a bird up here, all the adrenaline you'd get on the tip of a roller coaster without the fear of a descent. You look down and see the woods you felt so terrified in as just a blip in a map extending out and curving beneath you. You wiggle your legs a little, just to drive home the feeling that you're literally flying, turning around yourself in the air to scan the night sky. It looks so beautiful, the twin moons, the gradient of the dark under the bright stars. Pretty cool, right? That is definitely an understatement. I told you we had nothing to worry about. I come up here to think a lot. Or to just fuck around because of fun, and I can. Kind of put things in perspective. Back to business, though. Help me look for that town. You scan the planet below you, find the spot again where you used to be. The canopy of trees all reduced to blurred colors from up this high. You point with your finger and, with one eye closed, draw a line to where the canopy stops and meets a town nestled in between the hills. The forest cleared away around it, and the rooftops and twinkle of sparse lights in between carved-out streets. That's gotta be it, you tell Sai. Great work, Co-Conspirator. We were never lost, see? We just had to look at it from a different angle. And also use my badass mind powers. They also use the badass mind powers. You smile at him. Sai might have said he's not adept at healthy mindsets, but he sure knows how to comfort someone when they need it. You hope he knows that. Alright, prepare yourself. I like to make a bit of an entrance. With that, the two of you make a straight shot for the town, and with his Sai still holding onto you carefully, you dive into descent head first, catapulted back to the ground. Everything passes by you so fast, and you feel close to indestructible. Well, you are indestructible, you amend to yourself. You're a being enveloped in pure light itself. And then it's over. Sai carefully guides you to the floor of the town street and lifts all hold he had on you. Your legs wobble because you'd forgotten the feeling of gravity for a while there, but with some effort you stand yourself up back straight. You thank him for getting the two of you out of the woods, not figuratively. If no threat, I should be thanking you for, you know. He looks around this way and that, making sure no one's around to listen in. Committing treason with me. I don't think I could have handled all that alone. You could have just left that out, buddy. He looks you up and down and then decisively spits on his palm and holds it out to you, as if waiting for you to shake it. You're frozen. So, you're really going to leave me hanging after all we've been through? No, of course not. He just caught you by surprise, is all. You didn't think he was too keen on people touching him and everything after you tried to before. Well, yeah, random alien in an alley after wild it out and called the troll? No. But a friend? Of course I want you to give me some motherfucking skin. Oh, he really dropped the F word like that on your fragile heart, huh? Well, there's no stopping you now. You proudly hold up your palm and spit into it, give him the most epic firm friendship handshake of all time, or FFH. Treason buddies! Treason buddies. Fucking hell. Alright, well, that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, make sure you click the like button down below and subscribe to keep up with my stuff. New video almost every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Monday and Wednesday are my stream VODs. There is a link down to my Twitch channel in the description, so you can check that out. Usually, there's some scheduling things. I take every fourth Sunday off, so that every fourth Wednesday there isn't one. There's a schedule and everything like that. Anyway, comment. Let me know what your favorite part about all this. What was your favorite ending? Was it the good ending, or was it the long bad ending? Because the long bad ending got really heavy and had some really interesting stuff in it, but the good ending was just fun. That was a fun, good ending. I really like that. I really like the art. I really like the fucking Psionic's art also, his sprite art. And share it with your friends. Help support this these fans who are creating this indie game. Fan game for us, because it's very good. Between this and Befriend Us, I'm just very impressed at what the fandom is capable of creating in terms of like just the game and the experience they can make and all the writing and everything. It's very fun. It's a lot of fun. It's very good. So yeah, and play it. Please play this game for yourself. There's a link down in the description also to the itch.io page where you can download Distantquest and play it for yourself. And please do show them that we do enjoy the game. Just watch my video, but then go play it for yourself. Go have some fun. And take some time and just read it for yourself. I don't know what else there is. Discord. We have a Discord. Link in the description for that also. Please, come join the community. Anyway, I've rambled on fucking long enough. I bet y'all are tired of listening to me at this point. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I hope to see you next time. Later, everybody.